Hey, what's up guys? Back again with another video. Finally starting to gain some traction on the page, and you guys have been actually asking for some videos. So, along the lines of the 5.9 swap from the 3.9, or, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all you're really going to be doing is going from a 3.9 to a 3.18 or 5.9 unless you're doing something, you know, really exotic, and that's way above my pay grade. So, anyways, what I wanted to touch base on was I did a quick little project this weekend, getting everything switched over, getting ready to put the motor in. So I was at the junkyard hunting for certain parts, and I actually ran into a V8 throttle body. Well, I got it from them for like 25 bucks. So I'm like, sweet, yeah, I'm gonna take this home, I'll convert it now. Because a lot of guys with the V6s actually do that anyways. They put a V8 throttle body on it. It's better than buying a modded V6 throttle body from Hughes for like $1 billion. I mean, it's pretty much the same flow rate as a stock V8 one. And plus, converting it now, you know, it keeps you from running into hiccups later, which I would have anyways. So anyways, as it turns out, I've read it before in forums, but I didn't know how true it was. So the throttle cable on the V6 throttle body opposed to the V8 throttle body is actually different. On the V6 throttle body, it's a little clip-on bracket. It's like a ball and stub connection. I wish I had it in front of me to show you, but I can show you my V8 Hughes throttle body right here, kind of as an example. If you look, it's a hook style. Here, I'll show you like this. It's a hook style, just like the rest of them. Every one of them on the V8 is pretty much like the hook, line, and sinker style. Well, like I said, on the V6, it's like a ball, like press-in clip type ordeal, whatever you want to call it. So anyways, so it turns out I went to AutoZone. I'm like, oh, no big deal. I get a throttle cable. I paid like 32 bucks for it. Turns out that's not the right cable. The actual cable that you need is discontinued. The only way to get it really is offline. So I got lucky. I found one on eBay for about I think it was $52 free shipping. Normally though, like for instance, I called the dealer, it was $65, and almost everyone else online wanted $75. Even Summit Racing, I believe, had it in stock, but like I said, they wanted $75. Honestly, guys, that's a little outrageous for a throttle cable. So yeah, so that's very important. One of the biggest problems you'll run into, and like I said, it's gonna be something you're gonna have to order unless you're a guru at getting those lines out. And trust me, guys, they're hard to pop out. You know, like if it's in a junkyard, you know, and you see the cable and the throttle body, and you're like, oh man, this will be a sweet, easy route. Bring a buddy with you, because they are a bitch to get out. Once you lock them into the firewall, they do not like to come out. Trust me, I pretty much haggard up my V6 one, and I'm a pro. I do this shit every day. I pop cables off all the time. Those cables are a bitch at the firewall. Everywhere else, they just pop right off, you know, at the throttle body and at the gas pedal itself. But something about that connection to the throttle body, man, they kind of just mate together, and they don't like to fucking come out, man. I mean, it kicked my ass. Like I said, even beating it up, you know, because like I said, I was trying to take my time to preserve it, you know, in case the V8 throttle body didn't, you know, work well on my V6. My V6 didn't like it, but it turns out my V6 actually loves it. I don't know if I made a video on it, but I actually installed a air-fuel ratio gauge on my truck, and so now I can actually monitor what's going on, you know. So like when I add something that flows in more air, I can make sure I'm not leaning out. And like for instance, 2 weeks ago, I tried to put another video I should have made, but I upgraded from 24-pound injectors to 27-pound injectors, because I found out if you have the newer era Dodge, the Hemi 5.7s run the same injectors. Well, the 5.7s run 26-pound injectors or 27-pound injectors from the factory, and the 6.1s, which I got lucky enough to get a set off of, they're 30-pound injectors. That's exactly what I was looking for. On the flip side of that coin, the only other injectors I really found that were, you know, up my alley were Excel aftermarket ones. Not a big fan of Excel products. I know they make good spark plug wires, and I've heard some stuff about Chevy guys running their spark plugs, but I'm not a fan. So with that being said, those 30-pound injectors were, I don't know, I think they were like $385 from Hughes engines. Like I said, my 24-pound ones, they're Mustang Performance injectors. They've got the same connectors. They fit right in. I paid, I think, $212 for those from Summit. So anyways, long story short, I took those out. I'll show you real fast. And I put my 30-pound 6.1 injectors on there. You can see they're a little bit smaller. These are them right here. I got all 8 in. So yeah, I took those out and I tried the 24-pound injectors, and what I found is that idle, the computer kind of like knew what it was doing. You know, it sensed the more fuel coming in and it adjusted for it. And then about mid throttle, it was about the same. Again, it was adjusting for it. It was cutting back on the fuel. But when you wide open throttled it, it was dropping me all the way down to like 10.1, which is a shit ton of fuel. I mean, you're basically washing your cylinder walls down at that point. So I got those out of there like right away. My V6 did not like those at all. Now with the V8 throttle body, I might be able to get away with it. But like I said, guys, I'm going to try and find the box and actually send those back because I got those for free. I had a lady come in with a 6.1 that she blew up, and I actually got a whole new intake with all 8 injectors, and I tested them all. I took them off of her motor because, you know, obviously I had a whole new motor to put in, and it had low miles too. It was like 50,000 miles. Her motor, I think, had 60, so I took all 8 of her injectors. I cleaned them out. So now I'm running 30-pound injectors out of a 6.1 Hemi. The connectors are the same. I'm going to try and make a video sometime this week about I made a video about the wiring, about adding the 2 extra injectors on 7 and 8. So I'm going to actually try and take you guys with me. Hopefully my wife can be my cameraman because I can't lean into the truck like this with one hand. It's just not going to happen. Crimp and solder and all that other shit and shrink wrap. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to try and take you guys with me and actually show you my method because, like I said, guys, I'm a professional. I wrench every day, so I do everything to the best of my ability as good as I can. There's no, you know, bullshit in my work. I mean, you know, everybody's got to bullshit something eventually, but when it comes to this build, I mean, every nut, bolt, nook, and cranny was touched with either paint, powder coat, or new parts. I mean, I pretty much touched everything I could. So anyways, touching base on another thing, I finally got my, this is kind of unrelated, but my truck's a mud truck, and I put a Move off-road bumper on it. So I finally got my Rough Country 20-inch light bar, so I'm going to be mounting that this week. It looks like the guy I had actually built the bumper for me. He wasn't the best. I actually have to go back and hack up some of his welds and bend the bumper in a little bit. He didn't really do a good job at all, to be honest with you, man. When your buddy says he's a welder, man, that is the worst thing you can do. You know, you might have a buddy's buddy that's a good mechanic, but when it comes to welding, man, take that shit to a professional. I'm, you know, an amateur welder. You know, I can knock little shit out here and there, but when it comes to something that you're going to see every day and you're going to show off like an off-road move bumper that has to be built and welded and fabricated and everything ground down to perfection and then powder coated, don't take it to your buddy's cousin's brother unless he's got work right in front of him or, you know, he's built a bumper before. Because first of all, guys, it was like a 6-hour job building that bumper. And second of all, there was a lot of shit that they did wrong that was overlooked because I just wanted to get the hell out of there. You know, I just wanted it welded together. And now it's biting me in the ass because I paid him what I would consider more money than the job was worth because it took him more time than the job should have taken because he was very inexperienced. So there's a quick tip, guys. If you ever build an off-road bumper, take it to a guy that's either done bumpers before or knows what they're doing because that ship can sail and go south real quick. I mean, like I said, the bumper itself was like $650, and then I paid him like $500. It was like $1,100. You can buy a pre-built, custom fabricated bumper offline to your liking for cheaper than that. So, like I said, if you can't find someone to do it for $300-400, I would either not do it at all or just look for something. Because then, mind you, you also have to powder coat it or paint it or whatever you're going to do to it. That's going to be another $100 right there. So realistically, I probably have like $1,300 into my bumper, and it's not even perfect. For $1,300, it should be perfect. I didn't even pay $1,300 for the truck originally. I've got over $1,300 into the motor, but yeah, like I said, it looks like shit, guys. I mean, it looks good, you know, from the front. It's level, you know, the angles are right, except for the outer edges. When we lined it up, we used the mud flaps that are over there, or whatever you want to call them, the fender flares. And then I ended up taking the fender flares off because honestly, I think the truck looks better without them. So now I got the bumpers kind of cockeyed out. And then also where this light bar is supposed to sit, the plate was welded up like, I would say like an inch or a half an inch too high because we didn't map out this light bar and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So they just put the plate in there and then they were like, oh, the light bar doesn't fit. And they just wrote it off. So like I said, you know, even if they're real confident out the gate, man, make sure and double check their work and make sure they're actually legit because there's a lot of phonies out there when it comes to welding. Like I said, you know, if it's something that's going to be hidden, you know, you're welding on like leaf spring brackets or something, anybody can do that. I can do that. And I'm an amateur welder. I mean, probably less than an amateur welder. My shit looks like fucking peanut butter when I get done. But it's sealed, it's strong, and I know what I'm doing. That's why I knew better than to take a $600 bumper kit and put it together myself. So anyways, moving on, I made a video a couple of months ago about the brackets being different between the V8 and the V6. Well, when I was at the junkyard, I got lucky. I found a V8 fan shroud, which I was in the market for, because after I pulled and deleted my V6 fan shroud, especially after my my body lift, I noticed that my truck went from running pretty much ice cold to running like to almost halfway. So I knew it wasn't liking it, and then at the same time, my AC wasn't as ice cold. It wasn't liking it as well. So I went and got the V8 fan shroud. Believe it or not, the V8 fan shroud fit right in there, even with the body lift. I didn't have to hack it up at all. Now, mind you, when I put the V8 motor in there, I'm probably going to have to hack it up a little bit, but it's always better to have some kind of fan shroud in there. Take it from me. Like I said, I learned the hard way. You definitely want to have a fan shroud in there. Your car's going to run cooler. Your AC is going to perform better. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it, but it's important. So anyways, moving on. Like I said, I got a V6. I got a brand new bracket. I went and fetched one out of the junkyard because I want it to look nice and pretty like the rest of the motor. I'm probably going to do this in silver like I did my other one. If you look at my other videos, you'll actually see my silver main engine bracket in the videos. Like I said, I didn't realize till the last minute that was actually a V8. It might have even been a... I have the brackets around here somewhere, but it's a wider bolt pattern for a wider AC compressor. If you actually look up the part numbers, the V8 AC compressor and the V6 AC compressor are completely different. They're not completely different, but the part numbers are different because the bolts mount up differently. I'm assuming the V8 one's more beefy. I don't know, but my AC compressor is fine. I actually just rebuilt my whole AC system like 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to be reusing my AC compressor anyways. So, like I said, I'm going to take this over to my powder coat guy. He'll probably do it for like 20, 30 bucks. Knock that off the list, and then I'll be back on track. I mean, like I said, other than that, everything else is done. So, like I said, the main important things that you're going to need on this build are you're going to need a V8 throttle cable. That's a must. You're going to have to get it offline. Even if you don't get it offline, let's say you go to the dealer, it's going to be $62. I'll tell you that right now, and that's actually my cost. That's commercial cost. If you walk in there as a customer, it's probably going to be about 80 bucks. So either order it through a shop, but just make sure it's an OEM. If anybody tells you they can get you an aftermarket one, they're most likely lying, because I looked everywhere. I actually have the part number. I probably should have wrote it down so I could give it to you guys, but I don't have it. I'll probably list it down in the comments. But yeah, so you're going to need a throttle cable. You're going to need a V6 bracket, unless you have an AC compressor coming with your donor motor. Then you could go that route. Like I said, my AC compressor's actually original, but it still works great, so that's being left alone. As long as you use shorty headers, you should be able to leave the exhaust alone. I would highly advise you redo the exhaust. This is just to get me up and running. But I am going to redo the exhaust. That'll all be documented in a couple of videos, probably like 6 months from now. Aside from that, you're going to need a different harmonic balancer, obviously. You're going to need a wire in the 2 injectors, which I've gone over the wiring. So basically how it goes is it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, and then it goes 2, 4, 6, 8 on the wiring harness. If you look at my video, I go over it in detail. So you're basically going to have to run just 2 wires. That's the nice part. You can ground it. If you look at the injector wiring, it's usually a orange and green wire. That's actually your ground. It's the entire ground circuit for all 8 injectors. So all you have to do is, even if you don't want to dig into the harness, you can actually just grab ground right at the injector. You know, just like I said, it could be any one of them. It doesn't matter. They're all connected in the same circuit and then ground it out through the harness later on down the road. But yeah, so you need to ground out those 2 injectors, and then you have to run the 2 injector wires. I don't remember the colors offhand. Like I said, there's a video on it. If you look in my my video section, you'll find the video about the wiring. Other than that, guys, I think that's it. Like I said, everything else you need to know. If you need to know anything else, it should be covered in my videos. If it's not, let me know what I'm missing. I'll gladly make a video. I did endless amounts of research on this build. I mean, I've got like probably a year and a half just into research and dedication to part hunting and everything else. Just because, like I said, I started out as a 5.9 budget build, and then I came into some more money, and then I realized that using the stock heads was going to be a bad idea. Then I factored out, you know, the monster heads were going to be, you know, the EQ monster heads, I should say. They're super hard to come by. They're only on eBay. They're $1,300. I got those Edelbrock heads for $1,300. And then, mind you, if you use the EQ monster heads, or EQ heads in general, or stock heads, you're stuck with either all aluminum options on roller rockers or rocker arms, whatever you want to call them, and they're all $500 to fucking $800. It's insane. So this way, if you convert to Edelbrock heads, you can run any Chevy 3/8 rocker arm, and I got the best steel rocker arms money could buy. It was $202 shipped to my door for Comp Cam's best line of rocker arms. You can find a video on that as well. They're a 1:6 ratio. Any Gen 1 Chevy rocker arm will work. Yeah, so like I said, the money you're going to, even if you don't get a deal like I did where you pay $1,300 or $1,400 for the heads, even if you pay $1,600 for the heads, which is, I would say, a fair price, you're going to save that on rockers. You know, you got to think, you're paying, let's say, $200 more on the heads, right? But you're going to save that on the rocker arms. Like I said, you're looking at roughly $500 for a good set of aluminum rocker arms. If you go and convert it to a Chevy rocker arm, you're looking at $200, you know, maybe $300. You're still gonna save money, I promise you. But anyways, guys, other than that, that's the end of the video. If you need anything else, just leave me a comment, or don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, whatever you want to do. But yeah, guys, I'll catch you later.